guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be showing you some exercises and stretches to improve your back flexibility and also potentially relieve some back pain. So these are some of the tips that have worked for me and hopefully they can help you. And of course, I just want to clarify, I'm not a doctor, but these are just things that have personally helped me and I just want to share these things with you. So let's get into the video. First, make sure you start with a good warm-up. You can do your own or you can follow along to my warm-up video. I'll link it in the description. It's important to have a good warm-up to avoid injuries, and also it will be much easier to stretch. Believe me, don't skip your warm-up. Also, make sure to warm up any other part of the body that will be involved, for example, your shoulders and head. I like doing this stretch since it also stretches my upper back. Most of the exercises you will see, I do about 8 of each. Start with gentle stretches first, like doing waves. I call these small waves since I am not arching my back so much. Here are a few more variations. Then you can move on into deeper waves where you arch your back. I then like to add some side stretches. Make sure when you're doing this stretch you keep your hips in line with the rest of your body, so don't push your hips too much forward or slouch forward. This stretch can also be done on the floor. Make sure not to lift your knee and hips off the floor. Same thing in the straddle, keep the hips on the floor. Adding side stretches to the routine will really help warm up the rest of my back, and I actually think it's important to warm up the whole core, meaning your midsection, like your abdominal muscles, your sides, and your back. When you're doing this wave in particular, try to keep your hands closer to the floor, stretching through all of your sides, your back, and your front. Basically, like I said, your whole core. I will do a few leans forward, to the side, and back. This is the stretch and strengthen your back. You make
giving nothing. Oh, I've been wanting something from you. You've been giving nothing. Oh.
Next, you can take some elastics like these ones. These can help you deepen and sometimes modify or make the stretch a bit less difficult for you. I will use an elastic to do these waves so that I can deepen my stretch but also have more support. Whereas if I was to grab my legs with my hands, it would be more difficult. That's why I'm using an elastic. It also doubles as a good shoulder stretch. You can do a similar wave using a rope folded in 4, leaning forward, lifting up your toes and heels to get the rope under your feet and do a wave. Now moving on to the floor, you can repeat some of the waves that we did standing up. I will again take the elastic and put it under my knees and do the same wave. The cat-cow stretch is a popular back stretch, however, I think it should be done more slowly and each position should be held for 2 seconds at least. It can also be done in a circular motion. For the next stretch, you will need a ball or you can use a foam roller or anything that can provide support under your hips. You will roll on the ball and go into a seal stretch, and you can bend your knees if you want and then roll back and roll out the ball to your hands if you can and repeat a few more times. I like to use the ball to ease into the stretch and also modify it. Then you can roll out the ball a few times. And then to deepen the stretch, you can add a bounce. Back to the seal stretch, you can use the ball again to modify it, but this time put the ball on your back, and then do the same without the ball. When you do the stretch, try to bring your hands closer to your body and open up your shoulders. Don't slouch forward. And one last wave exercise that I like to do is this one. It's kind of like doing a standing up. Make sure again to reach to the floor with your hands, stretching all sides of your core. Moving on to twisting crabs or bridges, make sure you've stretched your shoulders beforehand and also your wrists. Once you get into the bridge, you can stay there and sway back and forward. Then you can push your hips down if you want, and you can hold it there too. There you can stretch your legs and hold it. Next, you can move your hands closer to your feet. You can sway back and forward, and you can also lift your hands off the floor and stretch your legs and come back down. Remember, you can take breaks in between and rest your back. And now if you want, you can also repeat most of these stretches on your elbows too. This here is a good stretch for your shoulders. By looking up and through your arms, you can gently push back and you can lift your hands off the floor here as well. Now make sure to relax your back. Like I said before, you can do any of these in between stretches. You can lean forward, you can do the child's pose, you can rock back and forward. And put your legs behind you with straight legs or bent legs from one side and the other. Now if you would like, you can move on to more advanced and deep stretches. Once again, I'm using the elastic here to help me ease into the stretch. Try to keep your feet as close together as you can. Now something very important during this stretch, try and lift your belly button off the floor as much as you can so that you are more or less on your hips. I know this may be difficult at first, but with more practice and strength, you will manage. The first stretch is just for your shoulders, so without looking back, don't drop your head back. Hold it for 10 seconds, come down, and then do the same thing with looking back. Okay, strength, strength, strength. It is so important. It is so important that you work on your strength, and like I keep saying, I can't stress this enough. There are some people who are born naturally flexible, but they need to work a lot on their strength, because in the long run, if they don't, they'll end up with injuries, and you don't want that to happen. But even if flexibility doesn't come easily to you, you still need to work on your strength. I personally think that this helped me a lot, this and something else, because of quarantine, we had to train indoors, and during this time, we had a lot of time to work on our strength, especially our back. There's a bunch of exercises, but I will show you a few. Some are more basic than others, and some more difficult, but I still encourage you to try anyway. For example, this exercise is quite difficult for me to do, but I try anyways. In this exercise, like I said, you need to lift your belly button off the floor. Of course, if you can't, just lift up as high as you can, but keep trying, and over time, you'll be able to do this. Also, keep your legs not more than shoulder width apart in this exercise. I know it's a struggle, but if you want, you can have someone hold your legs down or place your feet under the sofa or something similar. For the next exercise, you will need an elastic. Put one on your foot and one in your hand, and if you don't have this one, which basically kind of has holes in it, you can have the rubber one and just tie one around your foot, but it has to be in the opposite foot and hand. You're going to lift up your opposite hand and leg at the same time. Then you can do different things. You can hold it, then you can lift up onto your elbow and kick your leg up to your arm. Make sure to keep your legs straight here. You can also hold it there. Of course, don't forget to change sides when you're done. For the next exercise, open one leg to the side, put your hands behind your head, and lift your shoulders off the floor. Keeping your shoulders up, if you can, this will be more effective for your back. Lift your leg up, and then bend and stretch your leg. And then keep your leg bent and pulse your leg up. Now, keeping your hands behind your head, lift your shoulders to meet your opposite bent leg and change each time. As you can see, there are many different ways you can do these exercises and use different apparatus to help you or even make it more challenging. Now for the next exercise, if you know how to use the clubs, go ahead and take them. When doing this exercise, make sure to pull up. This will help you in future elements you may learn. Doing planks is a good exercise to strengthen not only your core but your arms too. I will show you some more specific exercises to target your obliques and ab muscles. Make sure to do all these exercises with proper form instead of doing many but incorrectly. Remember, you want to help yourself get better, so you can't cheat yourself. Finally, here is something else that I think also really helped me reduce my back pain. So, I call these relaxing stretches. Every day after training, I will come home and do these and a few other additional stretches too. This one specifically is the most helpful for me. I will hold it for around 3 minutes. Now, of course, at first you don't have to do a full 3 minutes. At first I couldn't hold it either since it was too painful. I started with 1 minute and I increased the time gradually. Make sure to support your back with your hands. You can also do this with your knees bent if you find it difficult. When you're finished, bend your knees and slowly roll out of it, because I found it difficult to get out of the stretch first and I found that rolling out of it is much easier. And the last stretch is a spinal twist. Bend one knee and let it slowly drop to one side. At first, I couldn't touch the floor with my knee since again it hurt too much, but slowly doing these stretches every day really helped me. So now that we have come to the end of the video, there's just one thing, very important thing that I have to tell you, is that you need to be consistent when doing all these exercises. So you can't just do it for one day and just expect that everything will be better, because it definitely won't. For example, one of the things that I think personally helped me a lot was working on my strength. and also doing those relaxing exercises that I showed at the end, because I didn't want to do those things, but because during quarantine we had to train at home, our coach gave us lots of like strength exercises, and I think I really did see an improvement, and the pain definitely reduced. I'm not saying it's still not there, it is, but much less painful, and there are things that I thought I could never do again, which I can do now. Hopefully this can show you that if you do work on whatever it is that you have to work on, it really can pay off. It is worth it, and you have to try. Some things might not work for you. For example, the stretch, one of like the relaxing stretches where like you put your legs behind your head. I thought that was like pointless, like what's the point of doing it? Like I didn't think that would be helpful at all. But my mom actually, was looking for, she wanted to help me, so she was looking through the internet for like some help on this topic. And that was one of the recommendations, like this exercise, this stretch, whatever. And let's say I argued, like saying that's not helpful for me because I'm a gymnast and this might help like normal people. But even if it seems like that, even if it doesn't seem like it applies to you, give it a go either way, because what have you got to lose? Really, you don't really have to lose anything. So give it a go. And like I said when I was showing that stretch, I said I hold that for at least 3 minutes. I think online, like whatever information my mom found, the person doing it said they held it for like 2 to 5 minutes, which is a lot of time, and I've only been doing it for like 3 minutes. But I had to do that every single time after training or after like stretching my back. Usually if like I'm at training, when I come home after like I take a shower, it's actually very relaxing, to just like do these stretches. It's almost like a cool down, and I think you should involve cool downs in your training routine, basically. So be consistent with all of these exercises, and I'm sure that you will see an improvement. That is all for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you found this video helpful, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and that's all I've got. I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Camera is further away than I talk.